What's up, y'all? This is BP.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Star Child.
It's your boy, Kid Dream.
Chris.
What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to Gamer Credits. This is going to be Season 3, Level 2. Let's introduce the players. Player 1, BP.
Yo, kid, what's good, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm great, man. I'm just happy to jump into this episode right now and ready to just get to it, man.
Absolutely.
Good day, man. I'm trying to simmer down a little bit. I'm still hyped up from earlier. I actually played Everybody Want to Switch with my son, so there's a lot of adrenaline in that game. So
You said 1-2 switch?
Everybody Want to Switch. My bad. Yeah.
Oh, there's a sequel.
Oh yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
boy.
I'll probably say that later, but yeah, that's so I'm just trying to. I want to keep the hypeness of it, but I got a little too hyped. So
Okay. Hey, nothing
simmer
wrong
down.
with that. Nothing
Hey
wrong
man,
with that.
you're right.
All right, then we got player number 2, Captain Starchild.
What's going on, everybody? Hopefully, everybody had a great week. No complaints.
The week just started. What do you
I
mean?
was gonna
What
say
do you
that, but you
mean?
know what? Hey, positivity.
mean, I could have said weekend because I wasn't too sure when this was going to be posting on to for the audience. So I was playing along with our little buffer of days. But thanks for pointing that out. Thanks for pointing that out.
Keeping the time this
you
year. I
know,
got you. Okay, that makes sense.
it's fun to mess with you sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time. So sometimes, the hell with that.
What's good with you, kid?
You know, same old. Somewhat.
I don't know. Everybody wants to believe that. Maybe we need a little bit more details.
Well, we'll get to that in the gaming moment in just a moment. Don't you worry. All right. Don't you worry.
All right.
Worry your pretty little head.
All right.
Okay.
You sound shoppy. Just to throw that out there.
That's not good. But we'll keep it moving though.
It's okay now, but yeah, we'll see.
And then we got player 3. It's your boy, Kid Dream. So, before we jump into these wonderful topics, gaming moment of the week, anybody?
Well,
I kind of want you to go first. You were chopping up a little bit, but I really want you to go first, man. You got me eager to hear what your game moment was.
Yeah,
right,
move your mic and your whole studio closer to your Wi-Fi.
Nice. I love it.
Okay.
This man said your Wi-Fi is trash, man. That's what you just said.
Let me go do that right now, okay? Let me get up and do that right now.
Nice.
No, gaming.
Guess. Oh, okay. I thought
Oh no, you thought you were being serious.
What? No, God, no. What?
I was gonna say, should we go ahead and say our stuff or wait for him to go back? Yeah,
No, what? Absolutely not. Anyway.
Don't keep us waiting in suspense.
Oh man, that Baldur's Gate 3, man. That Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
I have not been
Well, we're
able
off to
to
a good
put that
start.
game down.
All right. Okay. Details, man. Details.
So I finally finished my duo playthrough with one of my friends yesterday. Actually, we finally finished the game. We also already created new characters to play through it again.
Goodness.
Wow.
So to put it in perspective for you, the game came out August 3rd. Today is August 28th. I have a little over 92 hours in the game so far.
Sounds a little bit scary, but you know what?
No, not scary.
No,
It's just
no.
it's been such a blast. I don't think I've had this much fun playing a game, and it's been a while. This game has just been so much fun, so many funny moments, so many tough decisions, hard choices. Just overall a great story. I've really enjoyed the narrative of the game. It's been really good, really interesting and engaging.
Okay.
Um,
So has this game kind of officially reached your top tier list, like best of all time, possibly?
uh, this is definitely, in my opinion, this should win Game of the Year this year.
Oh, okay. Giving it away
Um,
early.
Okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh,
and yeah, I would definitely say this is within like my top, maybe I think top five. I think top five of all time games.
top five, top five,
It's
top five. Right.
yeah, it's just oh man, it's just something you gotta experience, and especially going through it with friends. Phenomenal experience.
I can see
Okay.
that.
Not bad. Not bad. By the way, shout
Mm.
out to Jay-Z for that top five thing, as you said. So anyway, just want to give credit where
Yeah,
it's due.
I was really
Now,
confused when where that came from. I was like, what?
that's where it came from, and that's yeah, okay.
But yeah,
No, that
it
wasn't that
definitely.
wasn't Jay-Z. My bad. That was Drake. Jesus, I can't even
Wow,
get my artist
this
right.
man don't even.
So
Wow, giving
yeah, that was
respect to
bad.
the wrong
I
person.
know, I know. And look, Jay has that, he has that presence out in the, out in the music game, man. So sometimes you
But
just
everybody know Jay. I don't
mess
think
up.
enough people know Drake, so we can still stick with the
Oh,
first.
okay.
I
Here we
mean,
go.
hey man.
Oh boy, here come the
Yeah, that's
hate.
a
All
whole other.
right.
I'm about to say a whole other story with Star, but we don't got time for that rabbit hole. So anyway, but that's
Hmm.
good, kid. That's good. Good to hear that you got such a great time happening over there in Baldur's Gate. I still have yet to jump in there, so see what's up soon.
And just real quick, it's just can I say it's so refreshing to just spend money and to just get a good game.
Yeah.
There's no microtransactions, there's no DLC, there's no season pass, there's no loot boxes. It's just I gave them money, and in return, I got an outstanding product. Don't get me wrong. If I had to bring up a flaw of the game, which in my opinion, all the benefits outweigh this little flaw, it definitely has its bugs and like visual glitches and stuff like that. So I won't say it's perfect. Obviously, it definitely has those issues kind of going on, but everything else just far makes up for it. Where to the point I don't even care because I know everything else is just so good.
Okay. Now here's
Look,
here's me again bringing up the fact that your mic is getting a little choppy. Um, but yeah,
to be
um,
honest, I think that's Activision and Take Two.
It might
They
be.
causing
knew they
this to
knew
It
ahead
might
of
happen.
be.
time. Yeah, they knew ahead of time he
Yeah.
was gonna kind of give all that game praise, and they were like, "Nah, we gotta do something about this. Let's mess this audio up."
Man, they'll just brute force attacking his Wi-Fi's,
Hey, don't underestimate
try and
these
hack his
companies out
system.
here, man. So, but
Oh man.
yeah, man. But that's cool. That's cool. So, what about you, Star? What you got?
Oh man, I'm just waiting to get my hands on Mortal Kombat 1. That's about it. Haven't got to play the demo. I was not paying that extra fee just to have early access. I'm sorry. I don't have pockets like that. But yeah, I am waiting for that game. But in the meantime, I'm getting back into Overwatch 2 and finding a little bit of joy in that game again.
That's actually impressive.
Oh yeah.
How do
I
you
mean,
feel?
it's the
uh,
eh,
How do you feel that it's
hmm?
the most downvoted game on Steam, Overwatch 2? Does that make you
I
happy?
mean, but if you use Steam as some type of counter, I don't really think that's like a pulse of the world. Steam is just Steam. But as for console players, I think that a lot of us are enjoying Overwatch 2 just fine. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be happy when that game shuts down.
I mean, you might be happy, but then the people that matter, we not gonna be happy.
Then
The
you can,
We
people
still
that
like the game.
matter.
I mean,
Gosh, man.
I
Listen,
mean,
this man came just
but
guns
then you could
blazing,
actually,
man. Jeez.
then you could actually play a good game, and that wouldn't that be a
Ah,
crazy idea, right? Wouldn't that be
hey,
crazy? Play something good.
here's the cool thing about Overwatch 2 that everybody seems to forget about. I didn't have to pay extra for it. It just came out.
Oh, you
So,
didn't, but the whales who fund that game, they're paying for it.
I
And you know
mean,
that
that's
that
mhm.
PvE content that they were working on that I wanted to play? Yeah.
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 I never did pick up the game just to play against the game itself. I play that game so I can play against other live people, but with my own fire team. And that's a whole nother story. Hopefully that what happened in the future. But for the time being, I'm playing with a nephew of mine's and a coworker. So I'm getting back into enjoying the type of teamwork from people I know. So it's cool. It's still fun. It's still a fun game. Anybody that had doubts, give it a chance. It's one of those things where don't believe the hype. It's still a good game.
Don't believe the hype. There is no hype.
Yeah.
Oh,
There is
Well,
no
oh
hype.
boy,
There
don't
is
boy.
no
believe
hype.
Can
don't
I just
believe
say
the
that,
stories.
man?
Don't believe the stories.
Listen, this gaming moments have gotten brutal. Like, what is happening? Like, I thought this is the moment where we could just share good vibes, man. But we're
Oh,
jumping right into it.
never.
All right.
Yeah, no, man.
Nah, I'm joking. Yo, keep going, keep
This is
going. I mean,
organic.
this is good. Yeah, this is good, man. I'm not hating on it. I just caught off guard.
Because if I were to discuss what I feel about Destiny 2 right now, it would have been completely negative. So I left that alone so I can have the highlights. So that's why I talked about Overwatch 2. But so BP, what about yourself?
Well, I mean, dang, how do you top Overwatch 2 in that experience, Oh, I know. How about the loadouts being disabled in Destiny 2 after the
Mm.
new season released? That was
Oh
kind
yeah,
of painful, man.
that
Now,
news
keep
that
in
new
mind,
season.
yeah, now keep in mind, the loadouts thing is still fairly new, right? It was like, I think it's been out for like what, only 6 months?
The last season,
To
wasn't
only
it?
Destiny 2?
only six
Mm,
months.
well, that's why I say fairly new, because you gotta keep in mind, Destiny's been out for like how long? Like years now, right? I think it was like 2000, God,
I
it was
mean,
like 13 or something.
I
yeah,
thought
if you look at
2014. I
starting
could be
with
wrong.
Destiny 1, it was like 13, 14 when it came out.
Oh yeah, we can definitely do that because there wasn't no loadouts in that either. So the idea that we finally would get the loadouts after so long, it proved to be very successful for people because it was just easy and convenient. And so now when we lose that feature, because then I think they had a bug or issue going on with it. I can't remember the details of it right now, but that's not have to really get into it. I mean, they can Google that out there. But yeah. So the fact that they had to take it away, just to kind of fix whatever bugs was going on with it, you feel it, man. You really do. And like I said, just it's only been 6 months since we really had it. I think 6 months, but it definitely feels like an eternity.
Can I say this much?
What?
This is a go-to channel for all information on video gaming. You want to fill them in as to what may have broke the loadout, just so they don't have to go Google it because they came to us for that
Man, this man
knowledge.
put me on the spot, man. Listen, I just said I don't remember everything. Like it was some kind of ornament issue, I think. No, no, no. So let me go ahead and just do this. So let's see. I think it was some kind of ornament glitch where something about if you switch your loadouts during, I guess, I don't know if it was a loading screen or during like the raid or whatever it was. It had a potential like to break the game or something like that, like the servers, or
Ye-
or it shut or it crashed the game or something to that effect. I don't remember.
So
And then
they
I
need to
think the other thing
optimize it.
was, and I think, well, maybe I don't know. I don't know. You might have to have that conversation with the developers, man. Who knows? But the other thing I think was there was an exploit to it where people could use like raid mods to give themselves like extra boost to I guess damage or other stats during regular like PvE activity. So I think that was the other issue too, if I'm not mistaken.
Why is that even an
So
issue? Because if some people are able to do that, that means that other people should have the same option. So if they want to try
yeah.
to, be more competitive, they need to do what the other person is doing, if not
Well,
better.
sir, I think you know by now this the Bungie's not about that.
Uh,
Like
uh,
anything that can be like over OP and all that stuff, they're not going for that because they'll fix that in a heartbeat. But let something be like buggy, like the duality dungeon, where sometimes you hit the bell and you just die instantly. That
oh
kind of persisted for
yeah.
like so long. So I mean, that's just kind of the track
hey,
record there.
hey, priorities, man.
But I mean, pretty much, got to focus on that Eververse. So, but
Yeah, gotta
anyway,
get them
all that to
money.
say, yeah, exactly. Well, that's always the case, but all that to say that the gaming moment I had really actually lied with my son and I playing Moving Out too. It's
Ooh,
actually,
okay.
uh, yeah, it actually came out about I want to say a couple weeks ago now. And so we just found out about it earlier this week and played it yesterday. So it was pretty good. It's fun. It's like the original, but had a little bit nice additions to it.
Okay, okay, okay. That's
I gotta
definitely a
take
good
a look
one.
at the trailer. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll send you a link. Matter of fact, I might put the link in the episode here just so people can go and check it out if they want to look at it. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
All right, well, cool.
It's
All right,
definitely a good one. I like that.
so I would
Yeah,
say
so
one good thing about Overwatch 2 before we go. One good thing.
all
Out of
right.
all the games that I ever played and put down and pick back up again, Overwatch 2 is one of those games where you pick it back up again, you don't have to try to learn it all over. Like it's technically the same game. It just again it added new characters and some new game modes, but at the same time, it's almost like just a friendly. This is like a friendly little like sit down and you just want to vent and get some of the pressure off your day off of you. Just Overwatch 2 is that little go-to for me. So I'm glad that I'm back into it. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, that's good. Oh, ooh, that wasn't me.
Hey
that
man,
That wasn't
that was
me.
me. That was me. That was.
That
Hey, I
was
got jokes
not
oh,
today,
me.
man. You know, you're gonna have to just roll with it. But yeah,
hey,
that's.
I would say if
I
I
think
ever
that's.
get
I
a
think.
soundboard, you'll be in trouble.
Hey
But
man, do your worst, man. But but no, man. Listen, end of the day, you having fun with it. That's what matters. Personally, I just still feel some kind of way that they went the Overwatch 2 route when they could have just kept the first Overwatch, going. Because I had a lot
Same
of
with
fun with that.
Destiny. I agree
yeah,
with you. I agree.
Oh no, yeah, I'm with you on Destiny as well. I'd never
Yeah.
agreed to the Destiny 2, man. I mean, I'm sure people were happy and excited when it happened, but I just remember thinking when they announced it, like, why? I thought
Yeah.
that this what you have now is great. Just build off of that. But hey, I'm not a developer. Not my call. So,
you know, we're not developers, but that kind of leads me into this first topic we got, and that's the wonderful, wonderful port of Red Dead Redemption 2.
oh yes.
N-
Uh,
Oh god.
Not not on current gen systems, mind you, on PS4 and
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo Switch. And
Yes, indeed.
all for the low, low price of what was it again? $50?
Yeah, of course, because that's the what
Woo!
price that accurately reflects the value of the game, right? Obviously.
According to the CEO, because hey, guess what? They threw us a bone and gave us Undead Nightmare for free, or in the
Ooh.
package.
Wow. I mean, that right there alone brings like $25 to it. So,
Uh,
yeah, that's definitely a deal, man. And I'm trying to keep a straight face here, and it's not
it-
working. Uh, yeah,
absolutely
it's
insane. When I saw that, absolutely insane. That they pulled this move. Not surprised. I mean, this gaming industry will do anything to make a dollar, so can't say I'm surprised, but
yeah,
just ridiculous. I mean,
it's
somebody said that because this is only on PlayStation 4 and not on PS5. They haven't
mhm,
done that yet. And it's not on Xbox because Xbox has this cool thing called backwards compatibility.
mhm.
Something Nintendo should learn about.
No,
Anyway,
shots fired.
basically, you can still play that game if you have a copy of it on your Xbox Series X, for instance. So, what they did was they just kind of ported it over to PS4, which PS4 and PS5 are compatible, so you can backwards play PS4 game on your PS5, so you can still play on PS5, but it wasn't specifically designed for it to take advantage of the new features and everything with it. Uh, Somebody said that you could buy, I think, Red Dead and Undead Nightmare, and I don't have the exact number, but I think it was like 20 or $30 on Xbox right now.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
could buy it on Xbox cheaper
Yep.
than what they're trying to package and sell it to you now, which is
Yep.
really
Let it
unfortunate
sink in.
because I don't think you have a way to really play it on PlayStation if you don't have your PS3 lying around, and you of course definitely don't have a way to play it on Switch. So it's just kind of funny that they're charging more than what it already is on Xbox. For what reason exactly?
Hey man, it's the take two reason. That's all you need. So
I,
I mean,
here's
it does. It
here's
does.
here.
It does take some resources to be able to mod a game to allow it to play on different consoles. I mean, it's like they have to still, hire a staff that can that can actually build this game or make it run on these other consoles. So it might
Well,
have to be where can we get the consumer to take up some of the cost.
but here's the thing. The what Star, I mean not Star, but Kid didn't allude to, well, at least not yet, was not only are they charging the $50, a wonderful $50 for this, worthy title right now, this now really old title, but they're not. It's simply like a port. Like there's no upscaling to it. Like there's, from my understanding, it still runs 30 FPS. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So I mean, just let that sink in, man. Like 30 FPS
Yep.
to the Nintendo Switch and PS4,
Yeah.
and it's for
Yeah.
$50.
$50.
And
Not
this
even
is
a
now,
port
and
to
you
the
also have to
PS5.
keep in, and you exactly, and you also have to keep in mind that this is also interesting because the CEO, I believe, of Take Two, if I'm not mistaken, came out and said that they don't just do like your typical ports, right? Like they don't just simply do the port, right? You know what I mean? Like they strive to do
Yeah.
like bigger and better with that stuff, and then they do this. So it's like, yeah, that statement didn't really it doesn't resonate at all. I mean, I don't think it
And
really resonated then because people probably were like, yeah, right. But
yeah.
even now, so it's like, yeah, it's like, dude, what are y'all doing?
And it's
Like,
like
how can
they
you
they're
not make this? Yeah,
and they're starting to kind of build a track record up with this because we take a step back and we look at the GTA 3 or whatever remake they put out or remaster
yeah. Which
a
even
couple
with
months
that,
ago.
it's like, yeah, to your point, yeah, absolutely, because we all know how to start off as a major disaster there too. And it's funny because even with that, you still got three titles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can kind of be like, all right, maybe $50. I mean, I don't even remember how much it was originally, but you could kind of maybe make a case for it since those games are so massive or were so massive.
Oh, and
But
they did
yeah,
if I
man,
remember correctly, they also did a slimy thing with that, and if I'm remembering right, so correct me if I'm wrong, what they did was right before this game came out, they delisted the GTA games that were included in this, so you couldn't just purchase them separately, you had to specifically buy the bundle.
I do remember that. Yeah, because I think they did it with the launcher too, right?
I'm not sure,
With the
I just
Rockstar
specific
launcher, it was something about. Because I remember them saying something about people had the game. Like let's say for example, they had Vice City already, and once that
mhm.
trilogy came out, they couldn't. From my understanding, I might be wrong, but from my understanding, they couldn't access their Vice City anymore. They had to actually go in and get the trilogy in order to experience it again. But I could
It's
be wrong. Somebody might fact check me and see if that didn't happen. But I thought that I remember hearing that for sure.
it
I
sounds
remember
vaguely
like
familiar, Jesus.
remember. I love it, man.
Yeah,
New word, man. Hey,
exactly. Okay, alright.
new word.
I'm about to leave.
Kind
Nah, but,
of reminds you of like those old shows where they did like that kind of craziness, like Pee Wee's Playhouse and stuff. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
reminds me of like a freaking radio show or something.
Well, maybe that too.
Over the top sound effects every 30 seconds.
Yeah. Look, I'm trying not
Nah.
to do all that. All right.
Nah,
So.
I'm just playing. Nah, but yeah, it's just disappointing because Red Dead 1, it was a phenomenal game. It's just a really good game, and I don't think I've played Undead Nightmare, but from what I've seen and heard, it looks like a great expansion and, what I like to see DLC be, and that it's these big new content patches, so it's
Mhm.
just extremely disappointing, and then if I'm not mistaken, this port isn't even on PC, because right now you can't play Red Dead 1 on PC, and this port didn't even fix that. You can't even play it on
Mm.
PC still. So it's just like I, I don't understand why. Like this just felt so weird to me. Obviously just a quick cash grab. They're just trying to get all the money they can, but it's just like it's just a slap in the face, honestly, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of echoing that and everything. So, but what's your thoughts, Star? Like, I would love to, because you kind of gave your thoughts earlier a little bit when you were saying that hey, you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Essentially, there could be a lot that has to go into even just porting it like that. So, like, do you have more thoughts about it, or what do you
The
think?
the only thoughts is the devil advocate thoughts, where I'm looking at it
Okay,
from
cool,
a,
bring them out.
from a business standpoint, is like they always gotta make a profit. And if they're going
Mhm.
to release a title that's pretty much already been sold in the millions and already made so much money, they know they're not gonna make that much money because there's not any new market for them to try to sell it under. People who have a Switch usually also have a PlayStation or a PC, so it's not like that game has not been purchased by the household. So if they are going to try to push this game again, they have to try something. So they know they're not going to make the same big numbers, but with the small amount that they can sell because of the price, they still have a profit. That's all I'm saying is that, they have to still make money. But
But
does it
see,
suck? Yes.
I like that word you used in there. You used it quite a bit, and I just want to kind of touch on that. You said try. That's the thing. They didn't
Mhm.
even try. They gave it no attempt, no effort. Like you couldn't even put it on PS5, bro. PS5 and Series X and S is the current generation of consoles. We have been on these consoles for a couple of years now, and it's not even officially on the PS5. It's a PS4 version of the game. They didn't even try. That's what irritates me. And it's like I said, it's a great game. And sure, have a lot of people already bought it and played it? Yeah. It's hard to sit here and say how many more copies they could have sold or whatnot. But like, would it have been nice to get, if not a flat out remaster, because that would have been incredible, but just
Mhm.
an actual I'm sorry, not a remake, which would have been incredible, but maybe a remaster, upgraded graphics, higher frame rate, maybe some quality of life changes, little things here and there. Tell you what,
Mhm.
hey, I might have bought that. Hey, time to hop back in Red Dead 1, play the Undead Nightmare. Like that sounds like a fun time, but it's like what they put out gives me no incentive to even want to think about purchasing that product. Like for no reason.
But
And can I add to that?
you
But
already purchased that game and you already played it. So they're not looking to probably get money from you per se.
But
But there's
I would
some
have bought
people
it
out
again.
there. Hmm.
I
Um,
would have if they actually put effort into it and gave me a reason to buy it. I'm not opposed to buying it again if there is an actual change or improvements to it. I'm not going to buy the same thing twice if it's not worth it. But if it's actual improvements, you know, actual things they made better, I have no problem buying it again.
okay.
I bought God of War 1. God of War 2018. I hate these names sometimes. On the PlayStation when it first came out.
mhm.
And right before Ragnarok came out, I wanted to replay God of War. Uh, I actually bought it on Steam because I wanted to play it on PC. I wanted to try that experience. I bought it again. If the game is good and you give me a reason, I personally I'll buy it again.
I ain't doing that. But but
Dang.
what were you about to
Okay.
say, BP? Because I knew you were going to say something. I think I may have accidentally
Yeah.
cut you off.
Oh no, you look, you straight. So the only thing I wanted to add, last thing to it was because to add what Kid was saying, right? Like, let's look at, for example, The Last of Us, re I guess remake at this point. So, well, I mean, technically the first time was a remaster, and then this one was a, I guess, remake of sorts. But it kind of gets back to what Kid was saying about, the quality of life changes, the upscaling, the, making it to where it's, runs much more beautiful. You remember how people, when that game came out, they had issues with it, with the price, mainly for the price tag, from my understanding. Because I think it was like, what, $60 that they were doing it for when it originally
Ye
launched?
yeah, I think so. I think it was
I want
full
to say it was
price.
60. Yeah. So, there were people that had issues with it and everything. But at the end of the day, at least they can say, hey, we definitely put effort into this. And it showed. Like you could see like the backgrounds and the visuals were just all just reimagined, enhanced. Yeah, I think even the character models were enhanced and like all that. You could just tell that they put work. They literally felt like at the very least that they did build it, you know, somewhat from the ground up again. You know what I mean? Uh, but when you look at Red Dead, it's just imagine for a second, like that game was $60 for the Last of Us remake, and then you have Red Dead, that's barely even a port with no kind of improvements made to it whatsoever for $50, and they're saying that's commercially accurate. Like
Yeah.
that to me blew my mind because again, I go back to that Last of Us part, and I'm just like, look, y'all couldn't at least do that. Because I think some people might have groaned about it, but people would have still been like, all right, shoot, you want to spend, I mean, charge 50 or $60 for it, as long as you got it coming out like that, great,
Yeah.
we'll do it. But this whole thing, it's like, I just don't know. I mean, I know some people out there will buy it, especially for the convenience of having it on the Switch,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
mobile way. But I don't know, man. It just feels really slimy, man. And I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely want things like this to happen. Meaning I want them to bring older games to newer, uh, generation of consoles, and I think we should have as much ease of backward compatibility as we can, to really even eliminate us having to rebuy games. If you just could have backwards compatibility just in general, a lot of cases we wouldn't have to, kind of like what Xbox is doing right now. But I'm all for doing things like this to let people who either miss that opportunity to play that phenomenal game or to just catch it up and bring it in touch with the modern times. But it's all about how you do it. And like one of the things that irritates me the most is just the price tag, man. Like
Hmm.
even if you're getting it on Switch and it's the first time you've ever played this game,
Yeah.
$50. The game came out what,
Mhm.
like 9 years ago?
Y-
$50, bro.
Yeah.
How
And
much you think the
it's
game
just a
should
thing.
cost?
Anywhere from like 20 to $30 max.
Mm.
I think 30 is like a hard limit, because I think what you're getting with Red Dead 1 by itself, and then, of course, Undead Nightmare, which adds several more hours of content, uh, I would say at least 30 at the most, just for how old this game is.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to be a dead horse. So I'm just gonna say
Hmm.
that I
No
feel
pun
like
intended.
they, but I feel like they figure that they have to make a profit for doing this move, and so it's like I don't know how much the cost is on the business end to where a $30 price will guarantee a profit in sales. Maybe it will actually make more people purchase the game at that price point. So it's always someone made a decision based on something. I'm just not sure what they're basing most of this on, but 50 isn't bad if the game is technically new to that console. Now, if they were bringing that game back again to that console, which already had it at one point in time, and it was 60 at one point, and then at 50, and then yeah, that seems weird. But if it's never been on that console, brand new to that console, start with the normal pricing of most new games for a console. 50 is not a bad point. It's lower than the norm. The norm right now is 70, which I don't even want to fathom that being a thing. But you know, I'm not gonna complain. I'm just gonna say kudos for those who have not had a chance to play it, to have their hands on it and enjoy it. Just enjoy games.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
like that. I
Interesting.
like that. You
So,
know,
yeah, I just
one
worry. Oh, you know what? Let you keep going because I just worried.
okay.
I'll say last thing. I just worry
All
that
right.
it just kind of sets this precedent because I think for companies out there that see that kind of stuff, it's like, well, dang, what can we do even less to
Yeah.
get to that price tag? And that's kind of scary to me because we've seen that happen throughout history of these companies. So it's just
Oh
it's
yeah.
dangerous. But I'll leave it at that.
you
All
know,
right.
I wonder. I wonder if Sony's gonna make a profit on this little portable they're coming out with. What's it called again? I don't even remember the
The
name.
Q, I think.
Yeah, I think that's
I think
it.
that was
Yeah,
the
that's
project
it.
title. Project
Yeah,
title, but I think it's supposed to be called PlayStation Portal, if I'm not mistaken.
it's
That doesn't sound good either.
no.
Oh man, you haven't heard anything yet, Star. Oh man,
Mm.
wait till we get into this. Crazy.
it, it's definitely an interesting concept, and I like the thought process because it's very, at least in my opinion, reminds me a lot of like the Nintendo Switch. Um, and you know, I, I I am becoming more of a big fan of these portable devices. So for like Nintendo Switch, Steam Deck, things like that. So I kind of like the idea of it. It's kind
Hmm.
of the execution in my mind where you kind of lose me because this device, again, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to be on the same Wi-Fi, the same internet as your PlayStation, and you're streaming it to the device.
You're not wrong.
No, not from what I've heard. I think you can actually do it in other areas as long as it has Wi-Fi, and as long as
Okay,
your system is hooked up to Wi-Fi at the house, then you should be able to hook up to it still.
but it's
Now, how
still
good that's going to
streaming it.
be, yeah,
Wait, wait.
that's a whole nother story.
Let me get some clarity because again, from what I've read, it has to be on the same Wi-Fi as the PS5.
That's interesting. I don't know. I've watched a couple of videos and read some places where they were saying like, because they kept making this like they kept bringing up examples of how you can go to like a coffee shop and use it there, and it's
Yeah.
supposedly supposed to hook up to your PS5. So I mean, unless they had their facts wrong, or maybe I lost some bit of the context that they were talking about. Maybe that was a wish list. I have no idea, but I thought that's the last thing that I heard about it is that you had
So
you had that capability.
so this is technically like the PlayStation Go. If that was the title, I can't remember, where you basically have an app on your computer and you can still stream games on your computer from the PS4 at the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
So
essentially what's going on now. I mean, you can do remote to, your computer, PlayStation remote through your computer to your
PlayStation
phone, I
Remote, there
think.
you go.
Yeah. So, well, no, I think you're right about originally when it was with the PS4. I want to say it might have been Go. I know what you're talking about. It feels like so long ago now that thing came out, but no, but I think I know what you're talking about because it was almost like the same concept. It's like $100 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So, but I think I know what you're talking about on that one. Matter of fact, let me look it up while y'all keep going on about it.
It's definitely interesting. And being able to play, these PS5 games on the go, I definitely like that sound. I like the idea of it. I mean, it sounds interesting. It sounds fun, but I, I've said it before, and I still stand by it. I'm not a big fan of streaming games right now. I think the
Mhm.
internet infrastructure we have is way, 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 way behind.
In America,
And
yes.
yeah, and until these ISPs up it up, which there's no incentive for them to do, so they never will. I don't think streaming will be a viable option for playing video games. Not most video games. I mean, you're playing like Uno, Monopoly, like you're a turn-based game. Sure, by all means, you could probably stream it, but as Star said earlier, Mortal Kombat One, you're not gonna play that over streaming. Come on,
Oof.
it's just
Oof.
yeah, you're just not doing that. So
Any
until
fighter in general, actually, too.
yeah, yeah, any action game, a
Mhm.
shooter, um, RPGs that require an action-based RPG, like it's just not feasible to play it. I mean, there's definitely areas with much better internet, but it requires such a strong and stable internet connection to really get the best experience from this. I just don't see you doing it that much, especially kind of like in the examples you just gave, BP, like going to a coffee shop, like the people were saying, like,
Mhm.
that coffee shop's gonna have terrible Wi-Fi. You're not gonna be able
Oh,
to
yeah. Yeah.
play Mortal Kombat 1 on this thing in a coffee shop. Like it'd be an awful experience.
Right.
But that's
Yeah.
the other problem too. It's like for this type of so-called concept of it being portable, it's not really portable. Because portability means that you should be able to take it wherever you go. Like I shouldn't have to tether myself to one location so that I can be able to stream this game. I should be able to be on a bus. I should be able to be on the train. I should be on the plane. I should be in an airport. I should be anywhere I want to be and enjoy the game, like with the Nintendo Switch. Like it's basically the game running natively on the hardware. When it comes to streaming, I think that they are trying to push a concept or a technology that works in other countries that's kind of not working for most Americans right now because, like you already pointed out, we don't have the best infrastructure at the moment for our internet. So it's like I
Yeah.
know Sony knows other countries are great at internet connections, but when it comes to the American consumer base, we are struggling.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well,
I can't even imagine rural areas how bad it is over
Oh
there.
man.
well, and to add to that, because kid, I don't think you got to the point of sharing the cost of it yet, have you?
Not yet, but go ahead because that was definitely another sticking point.
Yeah. So, I think it's supposed to retail for like 199. I think they did release that information recently. So,
Okay.
that's yeah. But I mean, given like and maybe I'm kind of jumping ahead, but given like some of the limitations I heard, like for example, my understanding is it can't do like it can't stream games to it, like from the what do you call that? What's that thing that you use now? Is it PlayStation? Gosh, I'm bad about this. Not extra. What's the one above that where you can stream like the PS3 games and stuff?
Oh, the new PlayStation Plus subscription tiers, the highest
Yeah,
one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So and did they and then correct me if I'm wrong. Don't they have an ability for you to stream games too? Some certain titles
Yeah, I
even
think it's
without
like
that part.
I think it's the retro games maybe? There is some section of games you can, stream.
Okay, because I thought they had it with the PS4 game, so I don't know about PS5. I don't remember if they did that or not, but I thought they did that with PS4. But anyway, the point is, games that you typically can stream through that system, they're I think you're not able to do that through that portal. And a lot of people are kind of like, wait a minute, like you mean to tell me this is a Wi-Fi based device that can't do the streaming titles? You know what I mean? So a lot of people are feeling
Yeah.
some kind of way about that, which I'm just it's interesting to me because it's like my question is that a limitation of the system's of that device's capabilities, or is that like intentional? To where they're like, cut corners. We want to make as much profit from this thing as possible with
Yeah.
little work put in, or little work and care put into it. You know what I mean? Because you think
It,
about it, like the Switch Lite is the same price as that, but you get so
mhm.
much more with that
Yeah. Yeah.
as far as playability. So that it's just interesting to me. Like I really am wondering about that. But what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I think it might be a little mix of both because definitely they want to kind of get something at a decent price point. I'm sure they kind of were thinking, but also it could be a little more pricey to kind of put that technology in there. I don't think I ever told y'all, but I recently bought a Steam Deck when it was when Steam was having their last summer sale about a month or two ago.
Man, you were holding out on us, man. No,
I
I didn't know
know, I
that.
know.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
so I am now a proud owner of a Steam Deck, and I will be honest, I have not had much time to play it just yet, and I really got to stop procrastinating and just sit down and play it, and
Hmm.
don't just let the money go down the drain. But you know, I will tell you, to be able to just like play a game like, for instance, The Witcher 3 on the Steam Deck is incredible. But definitely there's a good bit of technology that kind of goes behind it, and the cheapest Steam Deck I think starts at like $400 before um any because now they have pre-owns, but before any sales or discounts or anything are going on. So they probably wanted to kind of keep that price point low, and that's probably why they kind of went the route of streaming. Because I'm just thinking of like how bulky or big or how terrible the battery life would be if you
Oh
could
God.
actually just like, I know, just like flat out play PS5 games on it without having to stream it. Like that's how I
Mm.
want it to be, but I'm just also trying to imagine how it will look and if that would be something feasible to kind of walk around with and you want to play. Because I mean, if you look at the PS5, that thing is massive, bro.
Yes, it is, man. Yes, undisputed.
so so I'm just like, am I gonna have to carry around like a 20-pound brick just to play this PSQ, whatever they want to call it, for like 30 minutes before the battery dies because God of War drained the battery? Like,
Yeah, yeah. That would put a heavy load on that. You're right.
so I think it's a little bit of both, but it is definitely a very interesting way to kind of go about it because it's just like why did I buy this exactly? How much
Yeah,
use can I really get out of this?
and that's my question. And it doesn't even stop there, man, because you want to hear what else is going on with it.
What's that?
Uh-oh.
So apparently, it's gonna have the speakers, that um will be it's gonna have speakers to it. So you'll have the sound coming out of it. But let's say that you're in a area where you want to be able to have your headphones on and have the sound coming directly to that, right? You would think that,
Okay.
just get your Bluetooth device and hook it right up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, not with this portal. Guess what? They're actually having their own headsets that you have to buy in order to use to have that
Oh.
functionality. And here's the
Oh
thing:
man.
do you want to know? Do you want to take a guess at how much those headsets are going to be, or the earbuds? I mean,
I say about $100.
mm, yeah, you can go higher, but it's 200, man.
Wait,
$200.
wait,
Yeah, you heard me.
wait,
Two
for
hundred dollars
for headphones?
it was a headset. I think the headphones they're doing is like 150
Huh?
if I'm not mistaken. But if you want the earbuds, kind of like a la AirPods and stuff like that, yeah, it's 200. It's gonna run you $200. $200
So
extra.
they're not gonna make it
200?
where any of their other proprietary headphones or whatever they like Sony already has won't be compatible. You have to buy a specific version just for the portable.
From my understanding, because I think the same question was asked and I want to say it was Review Tech USA. I watched on YouTube. Uh, based on what I think he reported was, yeah, like you can't use those. So like your Pulse 3D headset that you're referring to, I'm assuming,
Mm-hmm.
from my understanding, that you won't be able to use it with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so here's a distant memory that just came back to mind. So when Nintendo first released game footage of people playing with the new Switch, the Nintendo Switch, that was after all the rumors and everything was all over the internet. People didn't really know what the Switch was. Then they showed it. I forgot it wasn't E3. It was something they were at. So the head president of Sony at the time, can't remember these names. Sorry, he was actually recorded, like shown to be at one of these events, and he was actually playing a Switch. So from that day, from when I saw that, I knew Sony was going to do something because they always follow, not throwing jabs. It's just the industry. You follow the trends. Sony
Yeah,
usually
definitely.
follows a lot of what Nintendo does. And to see that Nintendo combine the console with the handheld, that's gonna change some of the the environment, the industry again. The same way Nintendo came out with virtual reality, even though Virtual Boy was not the best success story, it was
Jeez.
them introducing something into the industry that everyone else followed through with. Remote handhelds. The fact that a lot of the things that Nintendo being a console builder, they focus on just new technologies for consoles. That Sony is going to look at some of those ideas. I just thought that like Sony was going to take whatever Nintendo did with the Switch and just turn it up 200% and come up with the most beastly handheld device ever. But no, they are basically just not caring. This is a attempt to say they don't care. They really don't care, but they still feel like, hey, we still need to do something. And that's sad because they had so much potential to do another PSP device and just do it right this time. But no, they don't care.
So I'll
Hmm.
say a couple of things about that, because one thing to say, because listen, as much as we kind of go or have our back and forth about Nintendo at times, one thing I can give them credit for is they work, man. They go to work with those devices, like the
Yeah.
3DS and like the handhelds. They go to work. Switch. I mean, they actually put work and effort into those in regards to like providing the titles that people want to play. The accessibility, they really put in a whole lot, and it shows. And obviously, people buy into it, right? I just
Yeah.
can't see with Sony that I never really got that feeling of that being the case. I mean, they barely got through with the PSP and I actually liked that device.
Mm,
And the Vita actually had pretty good properties too. But as far as them pushing it and actually coming out with things that people want to play with those devices, it was like I don't know. I didn't maybe, and maybe I'm missing out on stuff with that. But from what I can tell, it's like they didn't really have any groundbreaking, revolutionary titles
Yeah. No.
to come out with those handhelds. And what was
Yeah.
interesting to me was their reaction to it is, well, like when people ask them about, hey, are you going to still look at this whole venture with the handhelds? And they're like, well, people didn't really kind of react to it as much. And, we tried, we put it out there, but people didn't seem as interested. It's like, well, no, I mean, no kidding. Like, did you do anything to make that happen? I mean, did you, put out your, like, did you put out titles like, how Nintendo's been doing with their stuff? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's all I kinda look at it. It's like you put it out there, but you don't really push, you don't market, you don't, like, market it in the best way, and then it's like you wonder why it's, like, not doing well, and you essentially almost seems like you're blaming the players, like, "Well, we put it out there, they didn't buy it." It's like, well, you gotta give them a reason to buy it
Yeah.
or to
I
yeah,
want
right
definitely.
to
now
buy it.
this no, sorry, kid.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I definitely agree with BP on the fact that they didn't really have games or the support they needed to really kind of make it be successful. I mean, um, it, can anyone name a popular PSP or PS Vita game, an
Oh,
original one?
I have a friend that if he was on the show, he would be able to name them, but I myself never owned one, and I never ever cared to. It was just like you said, the marketing just wasn't there to entice me to buy it. It wasn't cheap. The games weren't cheap. The memory card wasn't cheap. Nothing was cheap
Oh, the
about that
memory card,
handheld
I
system,
forgot
man.
about
I
that,
Uh,
yes. That was even, oh god. I'm getting sick now.
Yeah.
Those daggone
So
memory sticks, man.
I know for me that was a big part because I even like when the PS Vita was out, several years into its lifespan, like I remember wanting it because it seemed really cool, like a really nice device. But like
Yep.
I remember thinking like, well, what am I gonna play on it? What good games are on it? And like, I mean, it was like 2 or 3 games, and I looked up that seemed
Mhm.
interesting or fun or whatever. And so I was just like, why get this if there's no games to really kind of play on it? So I think what they're doing with this new device is definitely the better way to kind of go about it.
Mhm.
Um, because they're not making exclusive games for it. You just play the games you already own, which is something
Right.
Sony's been killing it with is their exclusive games.
Right.
But it's just I don't know. When you say I have to stream the game, I'm just like, bro, I'm alright. I'll pass.
You
That's
should.
okay.
You gonna head out? I got you.
I'm a head out. I'll see y'all later.
Hi, SpongeBob.
Yeah. So, hey, exactly. Shout out to SpongeBob. But nah, so yeah, man, it's just like I said, it's interesting. And look, I want to make things clear, okay? I'm not gonna sit here and say that, PSP and PS Vita didn't have titles that were great, right? It's just that I just would challenge anybody to come out and just say they had like it had like a Zelda of its time or a Mario, a new wonderful Mario game of its time for that time. You know what I mean? For those handhelds.
I get
That's
that.
that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. Yeah, it's just you can easily with people would have a Switch or whatever, like, oh yeah, Pokemon or just whatever. Like, it's big titles out there. And it's like I just never got that with Vita and PSP. And I love those consoles, man, or those handhelds. I love them. They were great. But you know, I think when I bought the PSP, I literally just used it to watch videos at work. That was
Nice.
that's I re
Nice.
yeah, that's I literally remember it for I think I played 1 game. Matter of fact, I didn't even play I think I played Final Fantasy 7 on it that I ended up loading on there, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
The old Final
Eh,
Fantasy 7, not the remake, just so
Of
to
course.
make that clear.
Of course, a classic. All right.
oh, well, moving on from Sony and their next mishap. What else has been going on
Nice.
in the gaming industry?
Just ready to dip off of that. All right, okay.
Hey, man.
I mean, we
It's
don't want to
sorry,
keep
listen.
we don't want to keep distancing our sponsors, so we don't want to say too many negative things.
Mm.
We-
Oh, that ship is sailed, man. That's gone. But
Well,
nah, cool, cool.
how we looking on time, BP? I mean,
Oh, man, let's go. We can do it. This next one shouldn't take too long because it's speculation at this point.
oh, I don't know, because when we bring it up,
Hey, man, we got to give him something, man. We got all this misery towards his way, and he's,
hey,
poor
kid
guy's
has
having to defend.
hey
Hmm?
kid has left the room.
hello?
He's back.
Oh, there he is. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Get it.
I don't know.
All right. That
I
was
don't know, my
interesting.
Wi-Fi cut out for a second or what. I just looked over at Discord and it was nothing on the screen. I was like, okay, all right.
Hey, man, Sony had enough, man.
Told you.
So, but
Hey, they
yeah,
had to
so
take me out.
yeah, no, but
Uh,
we can, yeah, you can go ahead with the next one.
well, I was gonna
Should
say
be
I,
short.
I don't know how short it'll be because once we break it up, Star's eyes are gonna light up and
Let's
Yeah, we
can
got to
we
give
can
him
we
something to be
hint
happy
can we
about.
hint to it for the next show and not actually do too much of a longer spiel on this and just hint at what we want to discuss on the next show based on this topic?
Nah, man, let's jump in. Like I said, it ain't gonna take long. And if there's any residuals from it, we'll carry it over to the next show.
Okay,
well,
okay.
If
long
that.
story short, the next topic was just kind of us speculating about the the follow up to the Nintendo Switch, whatever they end up calling it. I think BP, you said the right now it's what Fusion is the name going around.
Fusion, no. I mean, the rumors called, of course, they were always calling it the Switch 2, but I think the latest rumors have it to be, I think, Nintendo Focus. I think that's the name that they said they're
Focus.
trying to go for. Yeah, that's another one I picked up from I think Review Tech, one of his videos. I think according to, I think the sources he was bringing up, I gotta find those sources by the way, but he was talking about how, or you can just watch the video, but they were talking about that was allegedly the name of it. At least it was rumored to be the name.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of those rumors when once the truth comes out or the information comes out, it's gonna prove that yeah, some rumors are not correct.
Well, I
Nintendo's
mean,
not changing. I mean, I'm not a expert on what the PR marketing team in Nintendo's gonna be doing, but I don't think they're
mhm.
gonna let go of this momentum they currently have with the Switch and make the same mistake they did with the Wii and the Wii U. Like they're not going to just change up a name and confuse their audience. They going to keep the Switch. I think that they just going to add some type of new type of like I'm still thinking a deck, but who
Mhm.
knows? But they're gonna still do something different to add on to the current Switch. I guess they call it line of consoles. Like I don't think they're gonna do anything crazy new. I think they're just gonna add to the current Switch.
Yeah, so it's so funny you brought that up because I think that was one of the theories or part of the parts of the rumor that was covered in the review text of the video. Because he was saying that part of it, some people were speculating that they wanted to call it Focus because of they wanted to avoid that whole fiasco with the Wii U.
Mm,
And yeah, because I guess that was a big worry where people were very confused. It's like, oh, is this kind of like what you said earlier about the extension part? It's like, oh, the Wii U is an extension of the Wii, and it's like, no, it's a new console. Like, wait, what? And so that's the supposed rumors about why they may be going with that different name. Um, but yeah, I'll be honest, I'm with you on that. I mean, I think they could find a clever way to really kind of keep that Switch title. Um, because especially if the rumors are any well, I don't want to keep hanging on the rumors, but if let's say they're going to keep the kind of same format of portability, I would think they would want to kind of hang on to the Switch in some kind of way, like some hang on to that name title. But I don't
correct.
know.
What's your thoughts
I
on
know.
it, kid?
I know for me, it's kind of echoing what Star just said. Uh,
Okay.
Honestly, just make a sequel to the Switch. You could, in my opinion, just call it Switch Two if you want. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Uh, but
I don't think nobody's gonna could get confused by that, right? I mean,
yeah, I think
simply
that would
Switch
be
Two.
the easiest. Just adopt the PlayStation, naming convention and just go 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's easier to keep up with than Wii U. But I honestly keep exactly the concept the same. Let me still play it in docked mode. Let me be able to take it portably. Let me get, I don't even mind keeping the Joy Cons and everything like that. Just I just want to see improvements to it. Improve the battery life, make it so it's a longer battery life.
Mm.
Improve the
Okay.
hardware. It's 2023, about to be 2024. Nintendo games should not be running at sub 1080p. It's just the resolution is just it shouldn't be below 1080p. Like it's inexcusable in my opinion. It's 2023. Like come on, it's just ridiculous.
I mean, a lot of games
And
do run pretty well. I mean, you don't put out the
I've
misleading statement
I've
that Nintendo
I've
is making games that's
I've
I play Nintendo Switch. I can tell you from just experience that's not the case for
I've
most
s-
of their games,
I've
especially
said it
their
before.
top titles.
I've said it before, they make great games, but the hardware is doo-doo, and it runs a lot of times, and not always. There are some parts of the game that run perfectly fine, and I'm getting my 30 frames, if not maybe even more in some cases, but it does lack in some of these bigger open world games where you get frame drops, and it is noticeable, and it's pretty bad. So I just want to see better hardware. It's, I
So
just want it to be
I'm
better.
just I'm just
I would
mad that I
say
don't have a doo doo sound in the soundboard, but okay.
You should
no,
have. You should
I
have.
I
know.
was
It's a
I
missed
would say
opportunity.
no, I would say this much: the hardware is not doo doo. For a person who's grew up with Atari, Coleco's, the Master System from Genesis, all the way to now the PS5, I honestly say when the console is doo doo and the Switch falls nowhere near that. What I can say is if you want to compare the Switch to a PC, you can't. Just no way. There's different processors. And so they are doing what they can with the price points they are trying to match for the consumers. And for all that they have balanced out, all the balancing they have done, this is a ultimate decision to come out with the Switch. It's two consoles in one. It's handheld and it's an actual console for just the stationary on the TV. The games themselves are superb. I have not seen too many complaints when it comes to the games at all. And then on top of that, they still stick to allowing people to have a way of playing together in the house without you having to buy multiple consoles. You can play up to about 16 people with some of the games locally in the house. So I just feel like Nintendo should stick to I would say, their formula, where they're thinking about how they can get people to play together and just enjoy a game and not just, oh wow, this game here is running 60 frames every single second, or having to compare, some type of stats instead of just saying, hey, we're having fun, we're laughing, we're smiling, we're enjoying ourselves. And
It-
that's the thing that I think we're missing with a lot of these games, is
but
that the fun factor. I'm sorry.
problem is it's hard to enjoy the game when its performance is so bad. And I'm not saying obviously it
But
should
here's the
be
thing, give
compared
me an
exactly.
example of that. Since I own one and play most of the games, I have not experienced that, so I need to know what you're talking about.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Breath of the
You keep
Wild
bringing
1 and
up
2,
Pokemon. I can tell you right
Xeno.
now, don't bring up
Okay.
Pokemon.
All right. All
Hey
right.
man,
Even though,
listen, Pokemon fans
hold on,
out
whoa, whoa,
there.
whoa, 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 hold on, hold on. Even though Pokemon is like literally the biggest franchise in the world,
I'm about to
sure, let's
say
not
Pokemon,
bring up
yeah. Don't
the
do that, man. They're
most
Listen,
gonna
profitable
they're gonna come after
company
us.
ever. But all
Nah,
right, all right,
listen,
fine,
listen.
fine.
we
No,
don't
no,
want the
no, no,
smoke.
no, no.
Pokemon's
No,
a
you want
partnership with
examples?
Nintendo. It's a partnership with Nintendo. Nintendo does not own Pokemon. It's a
They,
partnership. But
they do.
Pokemon likes to just definitely water down a lot of their stuff because, again,
But
it is so profitable. They don't need to give it a brand new every second. They want to just milk you. That's
all
that's
right, but all right,
Pokemon.
all right, all right. But then Breath of the Wild 1 and 2, The
Oh,
Legend of
wait, wait,
Zelda
wait, wait. I haven't
remake
owned
that
two
came
yet.
out.
Hey, I haven't owned two yet.
By the
But what
way,
was the issue
but
of one? What's
hold on,
Breath of the
I'm
Wild
gonna do a
one?
quick fact check real quick for y'all go on, but Pokemon
Mhm.
is owned by Nintendo. I just want to throw it out there.
No, it's
Thank you.
not.
It
No, it's
is.
not.
It
It
Look
is.
is.
at the
It
look
is.
at the actual name of the owner of Pokemon.
Game Freak
Listen, I'm
is
literally
owned by
looking it up where
Nintendo.
it says
What?
Nintendo literally owns the trademark for Pokemon. They own it.
Whoa, wait. Trademark for the game is not the actual ownership of the actual.
It didn't say game. It said Pokemon. It literally says Pokemon. It just says Pokemon and Pokemon logo to add to all the rights to every Pokemon character.
All
Absolutely.
right.
But don't
I
get me
will.
wrong. I'm not saying these games run poorly all the time. I'm just saying there is noticeable frame rate drops a lot of times in some of these games. Not always. Not in every cutscene. Not in every single fight. Not in every encounter. Some games, there's times where the game just works smooth, and I'm just impressed on how beautiful some of these games can look and how well they're performing sometimes. But I'm just saying the hardware is definitely holding the Switch back and some of these games back. There's
Okay.
plenty of games where the performance just isn't there. And I mean, again, I'm not saying it needs to be PC level performance, but if we want to really look at it, right? How much was a Switch when it came out? Like what,
300, I
three hundred
believe, right?
dollars?
Hmm.
All right. You can buy a Steam Deck for $400 now. 100
All right,
bucks more, and
so back to some
you're
cool
getting
games that Nintendo
far
only has on their consoles.
superior.
Steam Deck doesn't have Nintendo games. But let me clarify something with BP. So
Yeah, let me
Nintendo
stand
is
correct.
owned
Let me go back. Let me
by
go back. I'll stand
Game
corrected. It was
Freak.
owned. They're part of the owners. Game Freak, Creatures Inc., and then Nintendo own it. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
right.
There we go. So yeah, so we can't really discuss Pokemon because it's a different
But
beast.
I mean, they still own it, though. I mean, they may not own
But
the
they don't
whole
have
thing, but they
they don't
do.
have
They
all the
own it.
say behind it. They put a lot of money behind it, but they don't have all the say behind Pokemon. Because if they
But who
had the say
would?
with Pokemon, there'd be some
But who
changes
would
with
though?
Pokemon. Hmm?
Who who
I
would
think
have the
Game Freak
say?
does. I think Game Freak.
Not really. Well, they all are equal partners, so I think they would all have a say. Honestly.
No, from my understanding, Game Freak says the most when it comes to a lot of what the game is done, what happens in the game, how the game is developed. Nintendo just backs it. Like they basically let them do their thing. They say how much money you need. You've been making us money. We trust you. Do your thing. Nintendo don't really put much, say in what Game Freak does with those games.
Or
I mean,
maybe they should after
we'll have
that
to look
last
at the deal
disaster.
because they all own like 33% and somewhat. So we have to look at the deal. Maybe they have a deal like that, like maybe how Sony and Disney had with Spider Man.
I'm
Who
just going
knows?
by an
But
interview that happened. This is like Game Freak. No, they do their thing. It just Nintendo just helps financially back them. Man, it's a smart move. It's just a good partnership.
yeah, like I
But
said,
yeah, but
we'll look at that. But yeah,
yeah, but back to, I understand where you're coming from, kid. I understand. If you are a PC gamer, you're expecting a certain level of standards for your games. I don't play PCs, I play consoles. And again, with the price point that Nintendo was using to push out their console for what they're offering, I have no complaints at all. Now, if I do want to spend $400 on a different type of console or $2,000 on a gaming PC rig, I would want them to be pushing the top of the line greatest specs ever so that I can be able to utilize that with the money I spent on my systems. But for the console itself, I applaud Nintendo for allowing for families that have to have two people work in the household to be able to make enough to even splurge a little bit for their children to own a console. It's a great experience. So I have again, I see where you're coming from, but I just have this other mindset to why Nintendo does what Nintendo does.
Great experience, absolutely, but it could definitely be better, and especially if we're talking
You
about
would
the
spend a
next.
lot more for better. You would spend a lot more.
Not necessarily. $100 and you can get a
Who's
Steam
better
Deck
right
and get
who's better no, the
Well,
way
Steam Deck
better
does not
hardware.
play Nintendo games. I'm just saying, who's
You
better
could
than Nintendo for games?
actually,
you could
technically,
download an emulator and
I
get
yeah,
all
mean,
the
we
you
don't
Nintendo games
endorse
definitely
for
it, but it
free.
can
you
happen.
definitely
Not
here's the thing,
saying to go
and
do that,
Right.
listen, you
but
definitely
you
can,
can.
but I have played emulators that don't actually give me the same exact experience because it's not a native game. So all I'm saying is we can
But,
put all that out there. We can put all that
but
out there. But I'm
but
just
you don't
saying,
you can't even get that native game anymore with Nintendo games because they don't re-release them, and
but
it's hard
but
to
again,
buy that
we that was a whole
system.
nother conversation. But what I'm saying is when it comes to Nintendo, for the price point that allow for people to still be able to afford their console, what they are offering is superb. So again,
So,
yes, you can get a Steam Deck. You can get someone that learns how to download emulators and program emulators and reprogram emulators to run every game the way you want it to run because emulating is not fun to do. So even though you make it sound easy just with the statement, it's not that easy for certain
It
games to run.
you just download the emulator and then download the ROMs. Again, not saying to go do it,
It's not
anybody,
easy. It's not easy. It's not
but,
easy. Instead of
a
just
quick
putting a
YouTube
cartridge
search,
into a game and playing it, easy.
it is when you don't have that system and you can't buy them because they aren't made anymore.
What
well,
system's
let
not
me throw
made
something out
anymore?
there.
Oh,
Huh?
GameCube, SNES, the
wait, I thought we were talking
original,
about the Switch. Wait, what are we talking?
but
Wait, now I'm a little
Well, he's just
confused
making.
now.
I think he's making a point. I think he's making a
yeah,
point
like,
of the games
you
that.
s
Yeah, go ahead.
That wasn't the point that we were talking about, though. I see where you're coming from with that. The Steam Deck is allowing you to use emulation, but that's not what we were discussing. We were just saying what the
Well, he's
Switch
saying
is
that
able to
the
do for the price
option
point.
is right. I think he's saying the option is there for the Steam if you wanted to go back and play those games. Whereas, like
Yeah,
currently now, even with the Switch, you
but
can't because Nintendo won't re-release it. I think that's the point he's making, right, kid? Or am I wrong?
you mentioned about how it wouldn't be a native experience, and I was trying to convey to you that you can't get a native experience on Nintendo anymore unless you shell out a lot of money to buy the original hardware with the
all right.
original cartridges, which most
So,
people, like you just what you were saying, an average family, most people can't afford that kind of stuff because it's just way too
all right.
expensive.
So when I say native experience, I mean for the games that is released on that console natively. I'm not saying to look at the backlog of games that Nintendo ever made. I mean that's ridiculous. I'm just
Well,
saying that for the native experience of playing Breath of the Wild, you need to be able to have that full-fledged support on the console that was designed for that emulation. Yes, you can add some HD graphics. You can make it run more smoothly. There's a lot of things you can do, but again, that takes a lot of practice to get the correct emulation, the correct mods, and there's a lot of things that go behind that. That a lot of people, kids, 5 year olds, 6 year olds, they might be able to do that, but some people are not going to want to use that. They just want to open the box, place the cartridge in, turn on the game, and go. They're not trying to do all the other stuff. So I see where you're coming from, your standpoint, and I get your standpoint. Where you're coming from as a PC gamer, you have a lot of other tactics that you have learned over the years. As a console gamer, I don't want to do none of that stuff. I just want to turn on that game and play it. That's it.
This conversation sounds eerily similar to the discussions between iPhone and Android users.
Nah.
It's like the same thing. It does. It's like, well, at least for me, in my experience, I've always had because I'm an Android guy, and so like it seemed like I always get into it, which I don't go looking for, by the way. Like I'll sometimes make fun of people with the iPhones, but it's just in good fun. Like I don't really care that you love your iPhone. That's great, but it's that conversation would always come up. Where it's like, look, I just want something that's simple. I just turn the phone on, everything's there. Da, 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 da. Whereas me, I'm like, I like my stuff's like customizable. I like to be able to add what I want to it, and dictate what's on there and that kind of stuff. But that's why I say it kind of reminded me of that conversation slightly.
I see what you're saying.
But
Yeah.
let me just pose this: like couldn't there be a middle ground here where Nintendo could very well say, "Hey, you know what?" Because like to your point, Star, make the console that they want to make that's affordable for most families. But for those maybe like kid out there who would like for better specs and more capabilities, couldn't they just maybe say, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we just create you know, a pro version or something to that effect?" Like, what would you say about that? Like, would do you, well, first, do you think they ever would do something like that, or
I
do
don't
you see them
I've looked at mainly a
possibly
lot
looking
of
at
the
that?
option. I have looked at mainly a lot of options from Nintendo back in the day, where again,
Mhm,
what they used to do the handhelds. A lot of the handhelds weren't made just to be more powerful than the last. It's just like when technology becomes available and they are able to see if they can price it correctly for the audience, they would then
mhm,
incorporate that in their new systems. They don't make two separate systems and call one pro and the other one non-pro. They have never tried to separate their audience like that. I think recently, because of the pressures of the industry, they have been trying to move into the more high-end specs of gaming, and I think that that might burn a company like Nintendo, since that's not their core value system of how they actually plan out their games. I think that might work for Sony, that might work for Microsoft, that might work for Steam, but
mhm.
Nintendo needs to stay true to their core audience, which are, again, not children, but families, and families include parents, adults, children, and all in the middle. So they wanna just make something that encompasses everybody, and that's a hard thing to do, and they have been doing it very well for a lot of years. I just don't wanna take that credit away from the good that they have done for the industry in the whole as a whole.
So, because that's interesting you say that, because I'm wondering about then do you feel like the Switch OLED was as a result of those pressures? And
Yes.
if so, do you feel like that hurt more than it helped?
I think it hurt. I think
Okay,
that they should have stuck with making an OLED from the get-go and just left it in as that format, but again, they
uh-huh,
were worried about the price points, and when the
mm,
OLED technology became cheaper, that's when they were able to incorporate it, but by
mm,
incorporating it, they created a whole new branch of a console that made it look interesting of a shopper, point of view, to figure out which one they should have to get, and, like, which one, like, they have to now do their research. What's a OLED? What's a LCD? They like, it's like,
especially
for
from the parents, right?
Nintendo, it's like for Nintendo, they need to keep their markets a little bit more streamlined versus other, companies.
But didn't the
Okay,
OLED cost more when it came out?
Yes, but it was still cheaper than when they were had to have used it when the Nintendo Switch first came out. The screens were extremely expensive, and I think at the time, Android was using most of the factories. I think they couldn't even get their hands on OLEDs at the time. Um, so yeah, it's one of those things when emerging technology comes out, the bigger name companies get their hands on it first, and then once those technologies improve and how they manufacture them, the cost goes down. Then Nintendo then looks at it. So that's been
mm,
their thing for a long time. They wait on the cost to drop.
okay. So, I guess we kinda got that out of the way with y'all sharing what y'all would like to see with the new systems, right? Or did you get a chance,
Oh,
Star? Because
I didn't even say what I thought the
I
new
was trying to
system was
think if
gonna
you'd
be.
said anything. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, what would you like to see from? Because I mean, Kid already pretty much said what he would like to see from it, right? So I was just kinda curious what would be a desire of yours, to see, like, something new, like, whatever, like, new or something returning, like, don't break up the formula or maybe add a little bit more different types of functionality to it. Like, what do you see? Like, what do you want from it, the new one?
So I stick with Kid on this one. With
Mhm.
Nintendo, because everybody now has 4K TVs, you have to
Okay.
now start thinking about making your games more compatible with the technologies. So they
Got
need
it.
to start making their games a little bit more high end for the TV. So people are spending a lot of money on these TVs. They want the consoles to match that. So Nintendo needs to start thinking in those lines. So I definitely agree with that. But at the same time, I don't need for them to try to create something brand new again. Like, let the Switch last a little bit longer, add something to it, like a VR headset. Everybody's trying to touch the whole VR thing. Nintendo just try it themselves. It might work for them. And on top of that, they kind of need to start, like, with one of the other options Kate brought up, is looking at some backward compatibility, because the Wii had a great channel. Like you can get a lot of the old games off the Wii, and I think that the Switch has the same potential. I think that Nintendo needs to start looking into making that available for their consumers too. Um,
Mhm.
but mainly, I think that the Switch, as of right now, as long as they're making great games, I don't see them having keep trying to keep up with the Joneses. They are their own. They own an industry at the moment. They don't have to compete, and they have proven they don't have to really compete with anybody else.
Okay. All right. Well, um, I guess trying to think what I actually had in my mind now. Oh yeah, so I guess I'll have like the unpopular thoughts about what I would like to see from the new Switch. Now, mind you, I don't see it being a big deal, but y'all let me know. Uh, One of the things is kind of a better approach to the online capability. I would like to see improvements to that.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, like and to be fair, I don't really play the Switch as much, so I probably don't have like a horse in the race on this one too much, but just based on what I've experienced and seen, with the online store and the apparently some of the people that complain about the connection issues or just the very, very seemingly basic limited functions of networking capabilities, I would like to see them kind of like, improve on that a little bit more. And I think the only other thing really that I thought that I would like for to see with them is oh god, now it's escaped my memory. It was the network and oh gosh. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the controllers. Like I'm sorry, like those controllers, I mean, I'll play it, my son and I play Switch and we had fun earlier, but it's like I don't know, something about those controllers just kind of bug me. I don't know if it's
You mean the
because
Joy
it's just
Cons or the Pro controllers?
with Joy-Cons, yeah. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
basically what came with the system. So, yeah, the good distinction. I'm sorry. I have Nintendo boys coming after me for that one. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, just an improvement to the Joy-Cons. Like, I don't know. Maybe because for me it's just like the size just kind of gets me. It just feels
It
like, hmm,
it is very small. They are very
yeah,
small
it just is.
controllers.
And I get it. I get it. I get it. Because it's the whole point is functionality, portability. And I know that there's a plenty of people out there, like for me saying that, I know there's plenty of people out there like, hey, I ain't got no problem with it, man. You got a problem with how you feel about that. But I'm just like, I don't know. Like it's something about it. It just feels very, I don't even want to say flimsy, but it just feels like at any point I can break it in my hand. And
Oh,
not only that, but
it's
it's
made to
like,
last a little bit now.
and no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I get that. It's just it feels that way. You know what I mean? Like how some controllers is it's built okay, but it's like you feel like it could just snap in your hands or just a little bit of pressure and it's gone or something like. I just had that feeling. And granted, it's just a feeling. Like I don't. I mean, I can't say that I would absolutely break it easily. I'm not He-Man, but the point is, it's like I just that feeling, and then not only that, it was just the fact that like whenever like we're playing a game that doesn't really require the motions and stuff, it's like playing a Mario game, it just feels so weird. Like
Now
I
there
just
are
can't get a
add-ons.
good feel of
There are
control.
Yeah,
It
so
is, and I
I
actually
have purchased some add-ons because of that reason, because it is a
right,
smaller, but then again, I bought the Pro
yeah,
controller just to go ahead and get rid of all that headache.
yeah. And no, that's fair because I did too, and I sadly enough I hadn't used it because I didn't really have time to get on there like that. But it's and that's fine that you have that ability. It's just I don't know, like out the gate, before that's even really known and you're releasing the console for the first time. It's like I don't know, like I just want something that's a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more sizable to where it just feels a little bit better in your hands. That's all. But that's just me. That's a
Yeah.
little personal, you know,
That's me with
weird
the
rant.
Xbox controllers. Like, don't hand me an Xbox controller and think I can play a fighting game because I can't.
Wow.
Listen,
I
I'll say
can't.
this: they've gotten better, but I will say I just remember back to the old Xbox. Man, Jesus Christ, that controller.
Oh,
I
the Big
mean,
Daddy?
jeez, man, that's what they called it because that
It wasn't even that the
I didn't want
issue.
no part of Big Daddy. Let me tell you, I didn't want no
No,
parts of it.
wow.
That thing was crazy, bro. I remember
It's
as a
nuts,
kid
man.
trying to hold that controller. I don't know why they made that thing so big.
Yeah, man,
Pause.
that was crazy.
But yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm glad you threw the pause out there. That's
Got to.
yeah, got to have that insurance. So yeah, that's just it. Just a little, you know, unimportant rant. I'm sure somebody will tear that down, but
Oh no, people are currently sitting in their couches with popcorn in their hands right now, man. We gave them some entertainment just now. You're
Oh,
welcome.
I would say so. Yeah, you're welcome. I love it. I love that energy, man. That's what I'm talking about. We do this. So I think that's it, man. I
It's a
mean,
great slogan, yeah.
I'm just gotta check and make sure that wasn't somebody else's slogan. It's not
It might
like
be. It
energy
might already be
traction.
taken.
Yeah,
It might be
right, at this
copywritten
point.
already.
At this point,
Trademark,
yeah,
copyright, everything.
yeah. I will say one more quick thing. I know this is kind of well past it, but I meant to say this earlier. But to Star's point about how Sony tends to like follow up with Nintendo. Sometimes it's not always a great thing. Because sometimes that leads to things like the move.
Oh my goodness.
I see. I knew you would.
Some people enjoy the move, man, so I can't
They
take
did.
it
I
from them.
mean,
Can't
all
take
right. That's okay. Hey, that's great, man. I didn't know that.
it.
I really didn't, legitimately.
But yeah, I think that about does it, don't y'all?
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so. I think so. I wanted to hit y'all with like a quick trivia, but I lost it now, so I don't know where it went.
Dang, okay.
Yeah, it was a simple trivia thing. Question I was going to ask real quick. Like, oh, matter of fact, here it is. So, just to kind of test, just to kind of give a test out there that we really are gamers, with history. Can y'all tell me what the first game is that Mario showed up in?
Was it a
Oh,
game with Donkey Kong? I think it was.
Nice, nice. Okay, all right. There
yeah.
you go.
I can't remember what it's called.
Donkey
But
Wait,
Kong.
huh?
yeah,
Donkey Kong?
was it called Donkey Kong?
Yeah. Look,
Oh,
I forgive you, kid, because you're young school. You're young school. That's not even.
No, this
no,
this
that was
that's a new
You're
term.
new
We need to
school.
keep
New
that,
school. Young
young
school.
school,
Yeah, we
man.
go with young school. Kid school, right? Kid dream. No, that was
Mm,
terrible.
mm, mm.
isn't his name like
No.
Mario Man or something like that?
He was called Jumpman at some point.
But
He
yeah,
was Jumpman,
that's
So he
wasn't
was
he?
like, yeah, he was the high man, the high jump.
that was his
The
first
high man.
appearance, man.
That's crazy. I
It
love
wasn't
it.
even
The
his
high
own
man.
game, and now
I mean,
he's the freaking mascot of Nintendo. It's crazy.
hey, you never know, man. That's how life goes.
Hey, there's a cooler story behind him too. How it was because of the actual. I think he was the landlord that Nintendo was renting space from, and Nintendo basically wasn't making enough money to even pay him for the rent. But the guy allowed them to still use the space, and so Nintendo kind of blew up and became bigger. They basically used his name and his nationality at the time. He was Italian and made a mascot after him, the landlord of one of their locations. And that's how Mario was born. So just out of respect for someone that
Okay.
looked out for a small company.
All right. Nice. Nice. Look at you, man. Went a step further than what I did. Nice. I love
Hey
it.
man.
I need to stick with you more, and I don't need to do that trivia stuff no more.
Well, I,
Uh,
I I don't know because then his only trivia would be Nintendo things. So
Oh
listen. I
wow.
like
no,
See,
but
I
you
like
Star
you are
might.
I
correct.
like Nintendo, but I mean, come on now. After the fifth week, I'm gonna get tired of it.
Yikes.
Which Nintendo property? No, no.
I can see kid
Stop.
doing that too. It's like, nope, that's it. Nope, we're done. We're done here.
Mm, no
So
respect. I
okay.
tell you, no respect at all.
All right, Popeye. I got you.
That was Rodney Dangerfield, man.
Dang,
No.
that was, man.
Oh,
I'm off.
this
What is
Herman
you know
end
what?
this. Let's end this now.
Yeah, yeah. This is sad, man. This is Jesus, man. Where's
Well,
my
we
I
appreciate
have
y'all listening to us ramble for a little bit.
yeah, I gotta give myself the losing horn for that one. That was terrible. All
That's
right.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that was definitely fair. So but cool. Cool. So we done, right?
I
Think
mean,
we
done
are.
ain't the
Yeah.
correct statement, but we were.
Oh damn, man. My bad. This is strike three for me. I'll just shut up. Got the bangers coming out, man.
Oh man.
All right. But hey, to everybody out there, let us know what you think about the episode and everything. What was your takes, and do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you in the middle? Just please let us know in the comments. It should be on YouTube, as well as all the other major platforms, Anchor, Google. I don't even know what the Google one is called. That's pretty sad, but
Dang.
it's somewhere out there. It's out there. Like and we have of course, our website, podpage.com/gamer credits. So you just go there and you should be able to find all the information on where everything, the episodes are streaming at. But like I said, just leave the comments there and, let us know. And also give us some, give us some thoughts on what you would like for us to cover next. Any new news or anything that you want us to go over, then, please let us know.
Absolutely.
Facts.
All right. Well, guess that's it, right, kid? You want to take us out like you normally would? Oh, he's
All
too busy
right.
laughing.
Well, like I said, we appreciate y'all listening to us ramble for a little bit. All that fun discussion we had, and we hope that you'll join us next time.
All right, y'all. Peace out.
Let's
All right,
get
well,
it.
love.